Hello, my name is Chad Cass. I'm at Acoustic Sounds, and today we're going to talk to you about one of my favorite genres, the blues. This one should be pretty easy to talk about because, again, this is my favorite genre. I believe, it's basically the foundation of all music that came after it. Early R&B, early rock and roll, is mostly based, from the blues. And so I like the blues as it's very, has a lot of feeling. It's very real, a lot of emotion, a lot of feeling, very real. I'm from South Louisiana, and we grew up with a lot of different styles of music: blues, Zydeco, Cajun, and then in New Orleans, jazz. And then, the earliest of rock and roll, Fats Domino, and, Professor Longhair, and all these other, Huey P. Smith and other artists like that. Anyway, I grew up listening to this. But I first really, honestly, when I was 13 years old, it was like Foghat and Led Zeppelin and all of these bands that the Allman Brothers that did blues. That's how I really first started listening to most of these songs, you know what I mean? And then I dug a little deeper, found out later, where this stuff came from. And a lot of it came from right around where I was from, like the Excello Studios in Crowley, Louisiana, and, Slim Harpo, Lazy Lester, Buddy Guys from close to Baton Rouge. A lot of it was just around me, but I first learned about it by listening to, the classic rock bands. So many of them, covered blues songs. And so that's how I learned about it. So we'll talk about some of my favorite albums, and I'm going to try to talk about ones that you can still get that are in print or fixing to be repressed. The first one is probably the first one any or everybody ought to get. If you love the blues, Muddy Waters the King. Well, B.B. King's the king. But anyway, Muddy Waters is at the top. He's one of the best. No doubt about it. This album was done at Taj Mahal Studios. That was named after Terry and Marshall Chess, the son of Phil and Leonard. Great studio, and they captured Muddy Waters doing acoustic songs with Buddy Guy. I mean, it's so powerful. It's so raw. They are in the room. The dynamics will just blow you away. Such a good album. Top blues album. And now how do we stay in the same level of this album? Like, you know what I mean? How you're not going to top this album, but if you come anywhere close or you're in the same neighborhood, it's a really, really good recording. So this particular album is one of my absolute favorites, and it's a must-have. So we made it gatefold. We did it on 33 and 45, and we made a gatefold out of it, a stout and tip-on jacket. Sonny Boy Williamson, Keeping It to Ourselves, with Matt Guitar Murphy, and on some songs, Memphis Slim. This is another in the same class as Muddy Waters Folk Singer. He's in the room. You can hear him, so realistic. He's one of the best harmonica players, one of the most real blues guys. We did this on a tip-on gatefold as well. We did it at 33 and 45, just like the folk singer, 33 and 45. And it's in the same class. So anybody who loves a folk singer, they're going to love this record as well. Sonny Boy Williamson. It was done in like 1963. And it was done in Denmark. Great recording. Another awesome recording. It's going to be repressed very soon. Is John Lee Hooker, Serves You Right to Suffer, another king of the blues. He's great sounding record on Impulse, gatefold, tip-on jacket. Just an awesome record. Top blues artist, top sound, double 45 RPM. We reissued it. Kevin Gray mastered it. Another top album. Here's another great album that was done in Chicago. Junior Wells, Hoodoo Man Blues. We reissued it a long time ago. Kevin Gray mastered it. First, we did a 33 that Stan Ricker mastered. Then we did a 45 that Kevin Gray mastered. But we repressed it. And when we repressed it this time, we made a gatefold out of it. We got new liner notes from the founder of Living Blues, Jim O'Neill. We also got more photos. And we found the original stereo cover, which was different. The font was different. It says Delmark True Stereo. And we just thought, man, we got to use the original cover, make it a gatefold. And also the back was a bit different. So, of course, it was never a gatefold, so the gatefold's different with new liner. At the front, the True Stereo, I mean, I just love the early stereo when they see that. Now, on the original record, it didn't have Buddy Guy's name. Later on, they put Buddy Guy's name, of course, because it would help sell records. But back then, they called him the Friendly Chap. And I think there's some, in the liner notes, they talk about that because Buddy Guy was under contract. And so they come up with that name so they could get around so he could play on the record. And that's why they called him the Friendly Chap. And that's his name wasn't on the front of the original. Now, later on, of course, he's such a big artist that they added his name to it to help the sales. But this is how the original came out. And just a great album. I mean, this song, Ships on the Ocean, the sonic quality, I mean, it's just demo. It's just such a good album. Every song, musically and sonically. Hoodoo Man Blues, Junior Wells, and Buddy Guy. On Analog Productions. Mastered by Kevin Gray, jacket by Stoughton Printing. Here's a great record, Taj Mahal, Recycling the Blues and Other Related Stuff. This is a double 45 on ORG. Pretty sure Bernie Grundman mastered this, and it's a nice, beautiful jacket, probably by Stoughton. Yeah, Bernie Grundman mastered. 45 RPM, one of my favorite blues artists. Favorite blues albums. It's there's 7 live and 4 studio records songs on this album. One of my favorite is Sweet Home Chicago. I know that's been overdone by so many people, but this version sounds really, really great. And the Cakewalk Blues. Very, very good. Awesome. Great sound, great music. You'll love this one. This is Buddy Guy and Junior Wells, the same duo that did Hoodoo Man Blues. It's going back acoustic, so it's more acoustic stuff. This was done in France in 1981. And another great, it's on Pure Pleasure. I think it was probably pressed at Palace, somewhere in Europe. Good pressing, great recording, and 2 of the masters together, and it's acoustic, so it's audiophile sound. This is Oda Spawn. This was also done in Denmark around the same time as the Sonny Boy Williamson. So if you know the Sonny Boy Williamson, in fact, this was done in 1963 in Copenhagen. It's also got Lonnie Johnson on the guitar. Great sound. He played with Muddy Waters before Pine Top Perkins. Great piano player. great blues man in his own right. Died way too young, but this is a great album. Great album, sonically, musically, and it's on Pure Pleasure. Here's another Pure Pleasure. Now this is my absolute favorite blues man. Lightning Hopkins he's the top man in my book. He's from Centerville, Texas, which is close to Houston. I never did see him, but when I was growing up, you'd see Lightning Hopkins posters, you know, that he'd be playing around town. I wish I had seen him. I wish I'd have known more about him and who he was. But he's like my favorite. And it's a great recording, and he plays piano on this one. He usually doesn't play piano, but he's my favorite blues artist.